It's very hard to build something different as an adult with our siblings and our parents.
This is great. I'm very excited to speak with you, Caroline. I'm speaking with Caroline Dhaverna, uh, the one of the stars of Best Boy. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate this.
Of course, I really am looking forward to hearing your thoughts.
I have many. Honestly, it is so much fun. I have had the chance to speak with both Mark and Aaron,
Cool.
and I really do think this movie is a lot of fun. At the same time, it's very dark. It takes its content quite seriously, but at the same time, there's a bit of a playfulness to it in even when it gets in those dark spaces. But for you, why did you want to step into this world?
I thought the script was very strong when I read it. I love a messy, toxic family. Not in real life, but at work. Um, it was a very meaty role. She's very damaged and angry and sad. And it's funny because when I look at myself when I see that film, there's something in me that I don't recognize and I thought, I think it's all that anger and that sour. There's something inside her that's just, and it kind of changes my face, which is interesting. I didn't do it on purpose. It just happened. But yeah, and at the same time, I do respect the strength that she has, even though she's never had an encouragement in her life. Only when she did perfectly. And so if she makes a mistake, she's been told she's a loser, literally, and had to strip. So there was a lot of abuse, but she still found the way to escape, which is strength right there. It's an escape defense mechanism, but I think it's what saved her. And so there was, yeah, a lot to play with. And the four actors, we got along so well instantly. It was very comforting to be around each other, which is interesting because of what we had to play. Maybe we went there instinctively because we needed it to get through what we're throwing at each. I don't know. It was, or maybe just a coincidence. These four personalities that we have just really merged, and it was very caring. Yep.
Yeah, I actually, I'm. It's that's something that the others have said as well, is that the relationships were amongst you all were great. Um, and which is wild because I mean this is a film about three siblings trying to essentially tear each other to shreds in a
Mm.
competitive atmosphere. So that must require a lot of trust between the three of you to be able to, be friendly off one moment, then ripping into each other the next.
Yeah, it's interesting because I think we're performers. That's what we do. And we get our kicks from getting a good scene done, you know? It's very rare in my career that I was affected by a scene in a way that it threw me over or I couldn't get over it, or it's pretty much the other way around. When I get anxious and I get uncomfortable after work when I feel like I didn't do what I wanted with a scene. That's what gets me, makes me uncomfortable, or angry or sad or so we can be doing the hardest scene in the world emotionally. But if I feel like we got it, that gives me wings. So I think that's why because I think people are often impressed by how can you make it through. But if you have colleagues that you can trust, of course, as you said, it's a big part of it, and that you have fun with, then you can make it happen.
Mm. And you need that here because, like I said, with this film, it is fascinating to see everybody. I mean, this everybody here is cutthroat and with one another because they feel like they need to be. And I would ask you, let's unpack Philip because as the only daughter in a film called Best Boy, with a
I love
name
that
like
so
Philip,
much.
yeah. What in your mind, why is Philip even there at this event? What is she looking for?
I think she's curious. I think she's trapped into finishing something that wasn't finished, getting to the bottom of something with her family. And she's trying to create a different relationship with her siblings, become an adult and be kind and go against what they've been told they had to be. But the other ones aren't really getting it. The mother even isn't getting it. And I think Philip is the only one who's probably been to therapy or, or done some inside work. And so, yeah, I think she needs to fix something. And that's why she stays, I guess. Maybe to take care also of, because she loves them, even though she's been so hurt by them. Maybe she stays also to make sure that they don't kill each other. I don't know.
Well, it's interesting. Yeah, like the relationships are so complicated across the board, and yet you've got this relationship with I say parents, but only your mother is there. Your father, of course, has died before the film begins,
But he's still there, right? Yeah,
but he's
like
still
he's
there.
supposedly.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
he's definitely there. I mean, and we're trying to, it's been so hard for these human beings to have a self-esteem that even though he's dead, they're still going under his rules, in this household. And the mother, to me, is the most mysterious character because why is she doing it?
hmm.
She has her reasons. I think also she feels like they have to get to the bottom of who they are in order to grow and heal. But it's very mysterious the way that she expresses it.
She's got a number of mind games going on in this film without saying too much.
Oh yeah.
But I was and expanding on that too. I was wondering if you could speak to the idea of toxic masculinity in this space because, like you said, the father is very present, even though he's not. You've been named Philip, um, and still under the pressure of being in a competition, which in theory you're not supposed to win. Just by the title alone of this be, this it's and for this young woman to grow up in an environment like this is a completely unique set of pressure that the boys didn't have to experience.
Yeah, she's been denied everything in her life. Even her own sex is not okay.
Yeah.
And her mother never stood up to the father and said, "Look, this is a girl and we're going to let her be a girl." And so her identity is not respected, nothing really, her emotions. So yeah, maybe that's why she found it in her to, with an extra amount of anger, get out of there. Maybe that's why. I don't know.
Yeah, because she does, I think of the three, she is the one that breaks free the most before the film begins. Like she's the one that, like you said, she got out, but she's still right back in. Um, and this relationship with her mother, I would love to know in your mind, how does Philip view her mom? Because we have some fascinating scenes with you and your the woman playing your mother. Um, and it is an interesting dynamic again that the others don't have.
Well, I think at the beginning of the film, Philip starts out with the little girl inside her being very present, very wounded, but she's trying to be the adult, trying to propose other ways of being with her siblings. But as you said, she's pulled back in, as we are in our family dynamics in general, I find. It's very hard to build something different as an adult with our siblings and our parents. Sometimes we think we've got that going on, but then something happens and then you're pulled right back into what you know, you
Right.
know. And so I think that's what's going on. And I think she wants something from her mom at the beginning. She wants her love. She wants her affection. But at some point, she is denied again, yet again, this affection. And I think that's when she goes to war, you know. And it's because she starts not caring as much to receive this love that she ends up getting it from her mother, in her own way. Not the way that she would have hoped for, but just the admission. I don't want to give too much away either, but of what her mother says to her towards the end, the admission of how she feels, and the envy, is a lot, is a big gain.
Mm, mm. Well, and like I said, the relationships here are what make the film work. Like it's the scenes, there are intense. There's some, but it's these relationships between characters that make it so complicated. Especially with family, the nature of family. We talk about found family, but there is something about our biological families when we're stuck with them. You're right, that brings us back in. I know we're starting to run out of time, but I'm wondering, Caroline, what do you hope audiences take away from Best Boy?
Well, when I saw the movie in Montreal recently at a festival here, I was surprised to see how people were laughing. And I always love that when an audience teaches me something about the film with their reactions. I think it's really a movie to be seen in a movie theater if people have the chance to do so, because it will really change your experience watching this film, having other people react around you. There's a lot of dark humor, very dry humor, and I hope that we can take a look at our own family dynamics with a bit of a laugh. So I hope people get to, experience that with the movie, I guess.
Yeah, I hope it's relatable, but not too relatable.
Exactly. I hope not many people have this family.
Honestly, Caroline, I really appreciate the chance to chat with you about it. It is just so much fun. It is a wonderful film, and has that raw intensity in moments when it needs to. So,
Yeah.
thank you so much for the time. I really, really appreciate it.
Well, thank you, Steve. It was wonderful to talk to you.
Wonderful to talk with you too. Have a great day.
You too. Bye.
Bye bye.